We want to bring in former Hillary Clinton chief presidential campaign strategist Mark Penn right now. Mark, good to see you. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What a night. Looking at the Democratic side of the race, last night's results, Bernie Sanders now winning 6 of the last 7 contests. Actually, he said last night, we've won 7 out of the last 8 primaries and caucuses. What does that mean for the Clinton camp?
Well, I think obviously Bernie's got some momentum. He's on a roll. Particularly his fundraising numbers were good. But when you look at the delegate count, he really only picked up, a handful of delegates. He would need 15 Wisconsins to really pull even with her on the delegate count. And therefore, I still think he's got an outside chance, and she remains the clear favorite on the Democratic side without question, despite this string of losses.
And a lot of the talk this morning, Steve, is about New York and Delaware.
I just wanted to ask Mark, look, clearly Hillary has a huge lead with the super delegates, but I would ask you this question. You look at what's happened with Hillary in so many of these states like Wisconsin, like Michigan, where she's not even winning half of the Democratic vote against, let's face it, Bernie Sanders is kind of crazy when it comes to economics. She appears to me as a pretty wounded candidate going into the general election. How would you refute Republican claims that the voters just don't want another Clinton?
Well, I think there's no desire for Trump, Cruz.
That may be the case.
Clinton's got an uphill battle, I think, to establish her message in the general. And so the sooner she can put away Bernie Sanders, the sooner the FBI investigation can be put to bed. But I just don't see Sanders winning New York. I mean, that would be a big upset. I don't see it, even though the polls have closed. I think it's a diverse electorate, typical of the Democratic Party. And across the Democratic Party, she's still got, I think, a very substantial reservoir of support and opportunity to at least put together her party and then talk to the rest of the electorate against candidates that are seen as out of the mainstream.
Mark, let me ask you this point blank. What is Hillary Clinton's message to the American people? What is her message? Why should people vote for her?
Well, look, she's out there with a message of fighting for us. I think she's out there that she's really going to get things done in Washington because she's got the strength of leadership, that she'll be the strong commander-in-chief.
But what does she want to get done? What does she want? In other words, on to Steve's questions in terms of messaging, what does she want to get done?
Well, look, I think she wants to get done jobs. I think she wants to do something about the problems of economics in society. Look, I think she's getting a lot of moderate voters. When you look out there right now, she's probably the most moderate candidate out there in a lot of ways. Even if she's been moving more to the left of this primary, still the Republicans have been so far to the right and so extreme that I think actually the viewers here prefer her economics.
Hasn't Bernie Sanders, though, pushed her all the way to the left? I mean, think about it, Mark. Just a couple of weeks ago, she said she wants to put the coal industry out of business. She wants to make sure that there are more layoffs there. Bill Clinton the other day basically said, look, it's a good thing that we've seen so many layoffs on Wall Street. Dodd-Frank was one of the best regulations out there. She's pretty left, too. She's pretty extreme.
Well, I don't think you could call Hillary Clinton extreme. She stopped short of some of the bank breakups that I think Bernie Sanders has talked about. She stopped short of saying what he says about trade. She stopped short of what he says about
she doesn't like TPP, though, right?
Assets.
Does she like TPP or does she not like TPP, the trade deal?
Well, look, she had a huge role behind TPP. Well, we'll have to see. Look, I think it's traditional in these Democratic campaigns for everyone to talk tough on trade and then to really look at the deals once they're in office.
David Avella.
Mark, let's go back to the delegate count for a second on the Democratic side. Momentum matters in politics, and superdelegates, while right now may be pledged to Hillary Clinton, they're not bound at this point to have to vote for her. And if Sanders continues to get victories, is there concern in the Clinton campaign, or more importantly, is there an operation to make sure superdelegates don't start switching, which did happen in 2008, as people who were with Hillary Clinton moved over to Barack Obama? And as Bernie Sanders pointed out, he won 6 of the last 7 contests. And momentum matters. What's going on in the Clinton campaign to ensure their superdelegates are sticking with them?
Well, look, I think the superdelegates will stick with whomever has the larger delegate count coming out of the primaries. I think they're obviously over 400 said they want to support Hillary, very few for Sanders. But I don't think that's the point. She's got a 200 delegate lead. He only picked up a handful of delegates in Wisconsin. She'll probably win New York. The big delegates remaining are New York, California, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Right? He would really have to pull an upset in New York and California to even make substantial headway on the 200 delegates. We have to get realistic about what's happening here on the Democratic side.
For sure, but what about the realistic situation in terms of money? Sanders topped Clinton for a third straight month. He raised $44 million in the month of March compared to Clinton's $29.5 million mark. What's going on with the money raise?
Look, I think Sanders got some great strengths with young people. He's doing better with male voters. He is a very strong candidate. He's liked, very well liked across the country, and he's got a huge constituency.
Yeah.
No question about it. Look, we came very, very close. We were really, there was a whisker between us and Obama in 2008. I think there's more than a whisker between the two here, even though he's run a very competitive, good race. No question.
Yeah, for sure. Mark, good to see you, sir. Thanks so much for your insights this morning.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We want to look